Oof, oof, yeah. Oof, oof. Yeah, I lift your name on high. Yeah, I love to sing your praises. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. My name is Shanquilla Yah or Shanquilla Carter. Come to represent Yah. My home is, this is my One Vision ministry. Home first. Your first ministry being your home. This is what Yah showed me, that first ministry is home. Today I want to talk on He Got Next. I don't believe I'm going to finish this today, so I'm breaking it down into two parts, starting off. So He Got Next. Yah is just the greatest, omnipotent, omnipresent. He establishes realms, worlds, realms, dimensions, dominions. So in that, he being spiritual or ruach, he's the holiest or the most Kadesh ruach there is. He set forth and created earth, a natural realm. And in it, he wanted to establish his dominion. So he set forth and created man. Let's go. Hallelujah. 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 All right, let's go. Sharing my screen right now. All right, we're right here in Bereshit, Genesis 1. Going to start off with what they call verse 26. Of course, the original writings had no verse, no chapters. It was just written out in one scroll. It says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image. I just explained that Yahuwah is a spirit. So many think this is like he's saying, oh, he's going to make him look like him. If Yahuwah is a spirit, this is his image. This is what he made as an image to reflect him, not to be, to look like him, but a manifestation in the physical that would have his character and his reputation. This was his image. He is a spirit, he is a ruach. So he made a physical representation. This is going to be our representation or our image. Those of the ruach, the Kadesh ones that are all one or on accord with Yah. Let us. He was inviting them in on the process. But he did not need them to do anything because he's the one that spoke. So, of course, okay, he spoke things into life. But anyway, let me go. And Elohim said, let us make in our image, according to our likeness, our character, and let them rule over the fish of the sea. Let us make man over the birds of the heavens. See, he had created all these things and put these things in place for man before he even established man. Go up further in the writings, you see that, he created the heavens, the earth, those things he all spoke. A spiritual being spoke things into existence that never exist. A spiritual being made things natural and tangible. He being spirit and these things being natural, there's a difference. And over the birds of the heavens and over the livestock and over all the earth and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image, his representation. In the image of Elohim, he created him, male and female. You know, some people want to say, well, he's male and female. His representation, the spirit of Yah, is complete. So he created the masculine and the feminine. Spiritual beings don't, they have a masculine and feminine attribute. They complement one another. He's whole, so he doesn't have parts. He has a whole, but he has things that represent him. So this male and this female are the representation of man, or the wholeness of Yah, his representation. They come together in accord, and it represents him, male and female, not one or the other. They are complete in themselves, but to represent Yah, this union represents Yah. Male and female, he created them. You don't have the full manifestation of Yah and man, to the man, a man, male or female. You have them come together, and that accord shows forth his full manifestation. And Elohim blessed them. I don't like this word bless, so I say Baruch them, or show them favor. And Elohim said to them, be fruitful and increase, and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds, over the heavens, and over all the creeping creatures of the earth. He specifically said rule. Again, Yah is a ruler. Yah has dominion. Yah has authority. So he created someone to have his manifestation on earth, his rule, his dominion. That's what man was created to do. He had necks. Yah was, that was all belongs to Yah, but he created a man to do that. He gave him that opportunity to represent him in the natural plane. So I'm not going to go into reading everything, but that man, male and woman, male and female, they misrepresented Yah. He gave them directive, and they went against it. Some say they were tricked. I say Adam made a willful choice. Once Adam seen that his wife, whom he wanted a mate, or he, wanted someone to fill the time with, knowing that the command said that if you do this, you'll die, he made a willful choice to disobey and also take. He did not, I believe he did not want to be again without this woman. He started off without her and did not want to return to that position. So he made a choice. And they lost their interest to the garden. I'm going to speak on that later on too, just a little bit. So as the process of time, Cain and Abel, Cain slew Abel, then you have the son born that would basically take the place of Abel. And time passed on. Mankind was wicked, doing whatever. So again, who comes up next? Noah. Noah had next. Noah was given a clear warning that I'm about to destroy this place. I'm going to give you an opportunity to save some. Definitely save you and your family. So Noah went about building an ark. He said there's going to be rain, something that had never happened because the water just came up out of the ground to nourish everything. This right here was a problem for those that were of that time. Like, you talking about something that never happened before, but yet they didn't know his relationship to Yah and that he had next. Yah was communing with him and speaking with him and telling him his plans. He was reestablishing his dominion through that man as he let him know his plans for the earth. Now, once he flooded the earth, that ark would be a saving grace for those who were on it. All the animals and everything that was on it would be saved. Only people that got on there was Noah, his three sons, his wife, and his three sons' wife. 8 people and all these animals. Noah had next. All right, let me go over here. Share this screen again. Yep. Hallelujah. 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 Right. Shabbat Shalom again. If I didn't say it, I think I did, but let's say it again. Shabbat Shalom. All right. We're over here at Bereshit or Genesis 8, and we're gonna start off at 15. Just read it short. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, go out of the ark. So he had already flooded the earth, destroyed everything, all the men, all the wickedness that was on earth. Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every life form of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures, the creeping creatures on the earth, and let them teem, come together on the earth, and bear and increase on the earth. Many have heard how Adam was told to be fruitful and multiply and have dominion. Now you have a reset. Noah has next. He's resetting. Being fruitful and multiply is now a directive that's given to him, his family, and all the creation that's with him, all the creatures. Noah had next to save his family, but who do he pass that next on to? How did that next get passed on? What happened with that? When they come up out of that, there's clear cut something that happened. Let's go. Let's go. Again, I'm cutting it short. I'm gonna make this short, so this ain't gonna be as long as my normal, but I might extend it. I don't know. But let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Because I'm gonna do a little reading in a minute. I like to deal with some of the other texts, so I'm gonna deal with some of the reading. But I'm gonna go over here to Genesis 9 or Bereshit 9. Share my screen. Share my screen. So, verse 22, of course, there was no chapter and verse. And Ham, the father of Canaan. See, No child had been born, so why are they noting Canaan's name? I have my own theory. Of course, I don't see it in the text, but it's a theory. But I'm gonna go here. Saw the nakedness of his father. When you go forth to the law, uncovering the nakedness of a man often meant to sleep with his daughter, his wife, something to that nature. So again, why, if Ham did something, why is it mentioning his son, Canaan? There's got to be a reason. And told his two brothers outside. So remember, it was only eight. It was only eight on this on the ark, and they are just getting off the ark. Mentions nothing about children being born. So why is it mentioning Canaan? So Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it both on their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Did they cover up their father being naked, just nude himself? Or was it his wife that was naked? But their faces were turned away and they did not see their father's nakedness. We have idioms back in the Bible and it explains some things. And if you look to the law again, look up uncovered nakedness. When someone uncovers some nakedness, it usually is speaking of that man's possession of his wife, his daughter, someone he is responsible for, and not his own nudeness. But again, this is only my theory. I'm not making a doctrine out of it or anything. But again, why did it mention Canaan? Why did it mention him? And Noah awoke from his wine. He was drunk. Didn't say it was a sin for him to be drunk. He was intoxicated. And he knew that what his younger son had done to him. So if he had just seen him nude, big whoop. Adam and Eve were nude in the garden. Is that such a violation? Something happened. And he said, "Cursed is Canaan." Again, this is before any child was born. Now many that know that Bereshit or Genesis was not written by Noah, but it was written by Moses, which is way after the time of Noah. So he's recalling these things. And so he would have all the information before he even put his pen to paper, before he put his pen to scroll. So why is this child that is not even documented as being born cursed? And why not all of Ham's children be cursed if the problem is with Ham? It's the question. Let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. See, Ham had put, he had, what, he had multiple different sons, what's that? Because Ethiopia came from one of his sons, Egypt came from one of his sons. And so he had, I'm not going to even go into the details of his different sons. I could go over to Genesis 10 and run it down, and I might. I got the time. I got the time. Let's go over here. Go back to where I was over here. And then I'm going to run to Genesis 10 and run down to Ham. So the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. See, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So it doesn't mention anything about Cush being cursed, nothing about Mizraim being being cursed or put. Cush, I do believe that's Ethiopia, Mizraim, Egypt, and Put. Hold on, no, Cush is Canaan. Excuse me. Is it Cain? I'm not for certain. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's go back to where I was because I don't want to be off too much. I'm gonna leave that alone. And he said, "Curse is Cain and let him become a servant of servants to his brothers." And he said, "Blessed be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Shem." Shem got next. And let Canaan become his servant. Let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Hmm. Shem. Shem is the one that's getting the favor, or the one that's up next. But it still mentions Japheth. He gonna enlarge Japheth, and he gonna dwell in the tents of Shem. Off topic, rabbit trail. If Israel, the land, is Shem's, is Japheth dwelling in his tents or in his dwelling place? I say yes. I agree with the text all day that those that are living in the land of Shem are not Shem. But that's another topic. So let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. I want to read something that is from a book that they would call the pseudograph, or um, the book of Jubilees is mentioned in the 66 books collection that we call the Bible, but many say, that's not canon, or, but the other handlers, or the other people that handled our book, they are the ones that determined this is not valid text. I'm getting this out of the Sefaria. So it is text that was found written in Hebrew, but I'm going to go over here to the book of Jubilees in what we would call chapter 7 and start off with verse 11. And it mirrors what was just said in Genesis, or Bereshit. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders and went backward and covered the shame of their father. And their faces were backward. And Noah awoke from his sleep and knew all that his younger son had done to him. And he cursed his son and said, "Cursed be Canaan." So if he cursed Ham, again, why is he mentioning Canaan? An enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. Again, why is he mentioning Canaan when Canaan was not yet born? And he blessed Shem and said, "Blessed be Yahuwah El of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." I'm going to hit on this and then I'm going to keep it moving. My theory is Ham laid with his own mother, and the child that was born was Canaan. He uncovered his father's nakedness, is my theory, and the product was Canaan. It wasn't Put, Cush, or Mizraim, but it was Canaan. And that's why Canaan was cursed, because he was a product of uncovering Noah's nakedness. Many will probably have an issue with that. So be it. That's just a theory. I'm not trying to build a doctrine off of it. But again, Shem had next. I'm going to get ready to break this off because I'm going to break it in half or whatever. But many ignore a lot of the other texts. The 66 does not give this, what I'm about to share with you. Shem lived in Salem, Jerusalem. Salem. righteousness, justice. Yeru. You should look up that word in Hebrew, Yeru. Yeru is the transliteration, but look it up and look up what Salem means. Shem lived in the land of Salem. He would be the oldest person there other than Noah. The other text says that when Abraham was born, it was a prophetic word over him that he would destroy or be the key to destroying other rulerships, that his descendants would be all of that. And the person hearing this was Nimrod, who's also mentioned in the 66 books, but nowhere does it give you detail of his lifetime. These other books that everyone wants to throw away says that Nimrod ruled the whole earth. It doesn't just call him a mighty one, but it says he ruled the whole earth and basically wanted people to worship him. He wanted control and dominion over everything. And though he had favor of Yah, he disregarded Yah and he went on his own way. So hearing that this person would be born, his top man happened to be Abraham's father. He asked Abraham's father for that child so that he can kill it and end that prophecy. But Abraham's father brought one of his servants' children, and what did Nimrod do? He took that child and spiked that child down and killed it. But it was not Abraham or Avram. Avram had next. Noah, who had next, and his son Shem trained up Avram in the ways of righteousness. I want to read something else to you. I'm going to share a screen and show you something. I've sent it to myself in email because I don't like using the words, some of the words that are given to us. And so I took the liberty and changed them a little bit. You know, I took away God and stuff like that and things of that nature and put forth in no place of that Yah and things of that nature. So all right, I want to read you some stuff that you can look up yourself and get the information as well. So here you go. I'm going to share my screen. All right, sharing my screen. Okay, so Al-Kebalam, Al-Kebalan, the ancient name of Africa, used by the Moors, Nubians, Ethiopians, and other indigenous people, means mother of mankind or Garden of Eden. It's a saying that Africa, the land we call Africa, the whole land, majority of the land or whatever, was actually the Garden of Eden. Not just a little space, but all of it. So I'm going to read something from Jubilees, one of those books that is spoken of in the 66, but people say that what we have is not the real thing. Of course, seeing that even what we call the 66 was handled by these other people, these other books were handled by these other people. How do you say what is what? But we trust those people for what they've given us, you know, as far as, oh, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls. They found them, not us. They have them. They have them locked up in their vaults and everything. We don't have access to touch them. We don't have access to hold them and read them, but we trust what they say. But anyway, Jubilees 8 12 to 21. Again, it was no chapter and verse. And there came forth on writing as Shem's lot, the middle of the earth. This is his inheritance, which he should take as an inheritance for himself and for his sons and for the generations of eternity. Sounds a bit like what Israel, what it said of Israel. Sounds like an agreement or a covenant that was established before Israel that Israel walked out. We know that Israel was in captivity and lost a lot of their history to the point that Moses had to be retold this history. The book of Genesis is all information mostly that happened before Moses' time that was retold to him by Yah. How did he not know this information beforehand? He was raised in the house of Pharaoh, not raised really as an Israelite. He didn't have this information. And it seems that the people had forgotten this information as well. Again, I'm speaking of my theory, but the information a lot lines up to what I'm saying to me, but you may take it different, and I'm not going to force my comprehension onto you. You don't have to understand. You don't have to stand under. I would rather you overstand. All right, I'm going to start over. And there came forth on the writing of Shem's lot of the middle of the earth, which he should take as an inheritance for himself and for his sons and for the generations of eternity, from the middle of the mountain range of Rapha, from the mouth of the water, from the river Tina. And his portion goes towards the west through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abysses, out of which the river goes forth and pours its water into the sea of Miat. And this river flows into the great sea, and all that is towards the north is Japheth. So that area we call Europe, that's Japheth. The hot lands is not Japheth. Cold lands is Japheth, but that's what I'm reading. And all that is towards the south belongs to Shem. All that, all that, all that is towards the south belongs to Shem. Not a little piece, all that. And it extends till it reaches Carasso. And this is the bosom of the tongue which looks towards the south. And his portion extends along the great sea, the ocean, and it extends in a straight line till it reaches the west of the tongue, which looks towards the south. For this sea is named the tongue of the Egyptian sea. And it turns from here towards the south, towards the mouth of the great sea, on the shore of its waters, and it extends to the west of Afra, west to Afra, and it extends till it reaches the waters of the river Gahan, and the south of the waters of Gahan to the banks of this river, and it extends towards the east till it reaches the Garden of Eden, to the south thereof, to the south and from the east of the whole land of Eden, and the whole east. It turns to the east and proceeds to the reaches till it reaches the east of the mountains named Rapha, and descends to the bank of the mouth of the river Tina. Again, I highlighted this part. This portion came forth by lot to Shem and his sons, and they should possess it forever. Shem, we're called Shemitic. Shem, descendants of Shem, and they should possess it forever. Descendants of Shem. That would include Abraham, all his many sons, See, many only know or acknowledge the two sons of Ishmael and Isaac, but he had children with Keturah, Midian. That's where you get the Midianites with Jethro, Moses' wife, the daughter of Jethro. See, that man was with a Shemite, a Hebrew. Yeah, he had an Ethiopian wife too, but many don't want to talk about that because that would definitely acknowledge polygyny. But anyway, they should possess it forever unto his generations forevermore. Has forevermore ended? Okay. Okay. Let me continue. Oh, and Noah rejoiced that this portion came forth for Shem. So Noah knew that Shem was next, and for his sons, and he remembered all that he had spoken with his mouth in prophecy, for he had Baruch, he had said, Baruch, or favor be Yahuwah, Adonai of Shem, and may Yahuwah dwell in the dwelling of Shem. Now we already spoke that Japheth is dwelling there, but he's saying that he want Yahuwah always to be interactive with Shem, always to have dominion and relationship with Shem. Okay, let me keep going. And he knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yahuwah. One thing that I'm going to kind of go off script right here. Go off script. I'm going to come back to this. As I mentioned, Shem and Noah lived in Jerusalem. Why is Jerusalem such an important place? You got to break that down, Yeru and Shalem, and see what they mean. And why significantly does so many things happen in this place? Shem being the oldest, because Noah died before Shem did. Shem outlived even Abraham. When Abraham encountered him, I believe Noah was already dead. So that means that Shem was without father and without mother, because his mother had long died. Shem was the ruler of Salem or Jerusalem. All of this was his possession, unless the text here, which people say this is false. He was next. It's saying all of this is his possession. You see further on, it gets to be Abraham, or it's told to Abraham that all your children will have this. A passing of a covenant. Same covenant, but it's a new participant in the covenant, so it's new to that person. But it's renewed. It's the same covenant. But of course, we have been taught to think new, that it erases everything before. No. Possess it forever unto his generations and forevermore. That means it has to, as an inheritance, it has to be passed on to the next person. So it's new to that person. Yes, they were born and lived under their father's dominion. But now it's their dominion. It's new to them. But it's still the same covenant. Can't get people to hear this because, of course, it's just my theory. The Ruach ain't showed you this. Hey, I'm not forcing it on you. So be it. Let me go back and finish my reading. I'm going to start off at 18 again. And Noah rejoiced that this portion came forth of Shem and for his sons, and he remembered all that he had spoken with his mouth in prophecy. For he had said, Baruch be Yahuwah, Adonai of Shem, and may Yahuwah dwell in the dwelling of Shem. And he knew the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies, the threshing floor, the Holy of Holies. When Yahuwah brings forth to Yahusha and mankind the kingdom from heaven, the Holy of Holies, the kingdom is going to come down in where? Anyway. And the dwelling of Yahuwah. And Mount Sinai, the center of the desert, and Mount Zion, the center of the navel of the earth. These three were created as holy places facing each other. And he blessed, and I don't like using that word, he baruched. He showed favor, the mighty one of mighty ones. Who did that? Noah spoke out of his mouth and acknowledged and praised the mighty one of mighty ones, who had put the word of Yahuwah into his mouth. The word of Yah is in Noah's mouth. And Yahuwah forevermore. He acknowledged and praised and worshiped Yahweh, put his words in his mouth. He did this forevermore. And he knew that a Baruch portion and a Baruch had come to Shem. Favor had come to Shem and his sons unto the generations forever. A covenant was set to be passed down from generation to generation forever. The whole land of Eden and the whole land of the Red Sea and the whole land of the East and India and on the Red Sea and the mountains thereof and all the land of Bashan and the land of Lebanon and the islands of Kaphtor and all the mountains of Sinar and Amana and the mountains of Asher in the north and all the land of Elam, Asher and Babel. So Babel, ain't that in Iraq? Anyway, and Suzanne and Meh-Edal and the mountains of Ararat and all the region beyond the sea, which is beyond the mountains of Asher towards the north, a blessed and spacious land, and all that is in it is very good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shem had next. When I come back on this, I'm going to go to Abraham. Because, of course, people want to say that there's a new covenant. Brit Hadashah. Not that it was renewed. But it's amazing. I'm going to go here. It's just amazing how Jeremiah 31:31 speaks of, in the English, it says a new covenant, but it's a renewed covenant because they say the same wording in Hebrews 8. And it shows that either that it never happened or it still was coming. And so if it never happened, it's talking about the same thing. You're waiting for something to happen. And we've been waiting from generation to generation for something to happen. And the promise of it has been out there for a long time. all the way back to our ancestor Noah and Shem. And they trained up Abraham. And Yah let it be known, you got next. You got next. See, it's going to get to a point where it's going to look at Exodus 4:22, and you're going to see the firstborn son had next. Right now, Yaakov is in our tents, dwelling. So we ain't seeing this next yet. But we got next. We got next. Many say, oh, you are you focused on is the skin color. The truth is the truth that majority of Israel was melanin. There were some not melanin though, or did not display the melanin. It's hard to get people with melanin to hear that because I'm not preaching a love for the skin. I'm just using identifiers, things that identify. When you look at the prophecies and you look at the things that it said towards Israel, who does it match? The text gives you hints and clues. You got to know how to look at it. You got to know how to build your own theories. And of course, they said, well, that's a conspiracy. The fact that so many things come together to say what I'm saying, it's not a conspiracy. It's no longer not even a theory. It is what it is. But the problem is, it's okay for those that are in the land to say that they are something without ever proving it. They don't even, they require us, show your DNA. But where's theirs? You see, they come from the north. All that I described with Shem says the south. The cold regions is where they come from. This right here is built for warmth and hot. When you look at that land over there, the highest level of skin cancer is shown there of people who say they are native to that land. How do you ignore that information? If you're native to that land, why is that land killing you? They always tell us about global warming, but with melanin, what does that? How is that a threat to us? We thrive in that. They forget that we were in this United States in bondage, working all day. When the sun came up, we were out there working all the way till the sun went down. And the persons that the overseers, the officers, the overseers, they had to take shifts. They couldn't be out there. They had to have covering, and they weren't even working. They were sitting or watching us. The sun was beating down on almost killing them. But we worked from sun up to sundown every day. Except for their holy day, Sunday, they gave us a break on their day, but not on the Shabbat, because they had to keep us out of the covenant. That's why they gave us swine, to keep us out of the covenant. The enemy knows. You gotta look at stuff. When Balak and Balaam tried to curse Israel, I know I'm rabbit trailing. Couldn't do it. But the people choosing to do stuff contrary to what Yah said, that's how you could curse the people. They figured that out. So over and over, the enemy seeks to steal, kill, and destroy, always presents to Israel ways to have Israel choose to be out of covenant. Giving us food that's out of covenant. Telling us, oh, you can eat anything. All the creatures are able to be acknowledging or not acknowledging that man is a creature. Can you eat man flesh? No. But now you can eat swine. Now you can eat the bottom feeders, all those things that eat poison and toxins. You can consume those things now. When Yah says in Isaiah 66 that he comes back, coming back to get the eater of swine and the mouse and the abomination, those who eat, consume those. But nah, that prophetic word is not going to manifest according to them. You can eat as much of that stuff if you want to. We were able to endure the sun, and we're enduring it now. Global warming is not the threat to us like it is to a certain other people. So much so that they are breeding with us so that they can have melanin. You notice something that they forbid for many generations is now becoming the norm. They're breeding with us, not because they love us, not because they desire us. They want our melanin. You can check the black market and see that melanin is worth more than gold. They're injecting it. Just like adrenochrome, they're injecting that, but they're also injecting melanin. We got next. He got next. Abiyah, thank you for the Shabbat. I know I rambled a little bit. May people sift through that and get to the meat. Spit out the bones, and may they eat at the meat. I welcome in, thoughts and criticism, constructive criticism. No insults. If you insult me, I'm gonna block you. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, say that. Cool. But constructive criticism. If you call me stupid, dumb, whatever, I'm going to block you. Not a threat, it's a promise. We can have a communication. I don't have a problem with anyone disagreeing with me, but when you get to insulting, start putting words in my mouth, I got a problem with that. But Abba, thank you for this day, the Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. I thank you. May your word manifest in this earth. May your will be done always, as it is in the Shamayim, also on this Eretz, this earth. May I always be obedient to the call. May you constantly keep putting into me what you want me to bring out. Let me not look for the attention and the glamour and the fame, but to be obedient to you. Keep me humble. I thank you for using me. Some may doubt my assignment, may doubt my lane, but you are the one that have set my lane and you keep me in it. Hallelujah to you. Glory be to your name and not mine. May One Vision Ministry, this household, this man who governs a wife and children, put forth your will in this home as a sanctuary, but also take that will up outside. Put it on these YouTube, be it on Facebook, be it Instagram, be it TikTok, wherever. Let me acknowledge you, magnify you, and spread this word. May the hearer that is meant to hear take forth the seed and let it grow. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. Hallelujah.